District of Muskoka has an issue. They have infrastructure that is aging out, but they still have people living inside that infrastructure. Commissioner of Community Planning and Services Arvona Zwires tells me that tenant rights and support is paramount to her department, but there is an issue that is also growing beneath their feet.
We have a couple of units up in Huntsville that were deemed uninhabitable following tenants being relocated out from those units, and they are prohibitive to repair. So the cost to repair those units would cost almost half the cost of actually just paying to replace them. 2 out of 6 of the semi-detached homes in Huntsville have had water penetration because the water table is quite high in the ground at that location. And so we can assume that the same water penetration for those 2 of the semis will actually also be true for the remaining semis. Then we have 4 units in Gravenhurst that have seen significant damage because of the freeze-thaw cycles and the really heavy winters that we've had recently. Those buildings are more than 50 years old, and we are concerned that another really heavy freeze-thaw cycle and another heavy winter will make those homes unsafe. And we don't want to put any of our tenants in that situation. When we see that 4 of those units are also showing that type of disrepair and moving to become unsafe, we can start to make that kind of assumption that the other units that were built at the same time are also going to show that same wear and tear.
Now, while this is a problem, the district is looking at solutions that will not only provide more stable housing moving forward, but more of it.
So we had commissioned a year or 2 ago a highest and best use study for our community housing properties. And the highest and best use study did actually show us that there were some prime community housing locations which would be perfect to intensify those particular properties. So basically take an existing property and get more units built on that property. Again, as I said before, to today's accessibility requirements, today's energy efficiencies, and for all the right reasons, building the kind of unit that today's households need in Muskoka. And so if based on the highest and best use study, over the Meadow Park and the Pinedale locations, we could potentially see net new 42 units or even more if we intensified even more. So at a minimum, over those 2 sites, we could be looking at potentially 42 additional units in addition to the units that we would normally be seeing at those locations. We can do really good things with the monies that we have for capital repairs, and creating new units might actually be a better way to go.
When it comes to relocation of tenants, Zwires says they haven't been forcing anyone out. The tenants relocated so far were moved due to the conditions of these properties. However, she says as they go through the process, they are looking at suitable alternatives for others in a respectful way.
We're not saying that people are living in uninhabitable places at this time, but it is possible that if we see another severe winter like the one we had last year, that they could become that way. And we really want to make the best choices for our tenants now and get the relocations done as much as possible before we get the freeze-thaw cycle. So we're working with 4 of our tenants, 4 of our households along Pinedale to try and relocate them. Each household is viewing their options differently. As of right now, I know that we have a couple of households that have found other units that they can go into, and we're just waiting to turn over those units so that we can get them ready for the couple of households to go into. And each household might have different needs, and we're just responding to the needs as they come up.